Ladies and gentlemen, it's my opinion. We don't have an income problem, we have a spending problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my opinion that we don't have an income problem. We have a spending problem. That was Commissioner Dave Wissel at the Bailey Town Hall on June 29th, 2023.
We can only suppose that Wissel, having served as a commissioner for 6 months, and by the way, having served as Park County's assessor for 38 years, had misspoken. After all, any fool could see that Park County's 1,100 miles of roads were in dismal shape and had been so for years, even decades. The sheriff's department was so understaffed at that point that no deputies were patrolling after 9 p.m. These deficiencies directly resulted from Park County's chronic lack of adequate revenue to fund well-maintained roads and the 24/7 operation of the sheriff's department. But what Wissel said later on June 29th, 2023, is more relevant for our purposes. He bemoaned the practice of using land and water trust funds for projects not explicitly permitted by the successful ballot measure that established the fund. Here's what he said.
So, relationship, because the county's been adrift, running out, spending land and water trust fund money on rehabilitation of historic sites, which does not fit the fund.
It does not fit the fund, he said. A recognition that it is wrong to spend revenue on projects not explicitly intended in the enabling successful ballot question that established the fund. Contriving additional unintended uses of revenues, he may have added, lacks integrity and is illegal.
As a candidate for the District 3 Commissioner seat, Wissel rose at a quasi-judicial session of the County Commissioners on August 16, 2022, to opine against a proposed 2% sales tax on short-term rentals. He didn't like it for ideological reasons. Listen to what he said on that day.
The one thing I have to say, spending 40 years in the tax business, if I didn't make this little comment, I would never live with myself. This is, to me, the epitome of a sin tax. We like putting sin taxes on people that don't do things that we do. We tax alcohol. We tax marijuana. We tax all kinds of stuff. Cigarettes, all this stuff that people do that they like to do that we maybe don't. So there's a great saying in the business of, it goes like this: don't tax you, don't tax me, tax that other feller behind the tree. So now we're taxing that other feller behind the tree. Won't be you, won't be me, but who's going to pay that 2%? It's going to be the folks that come from New Orleans and sea level to perhaps the top of, Kenosha Pass, Wilkerson Pass, some pass, and they're having Party 101 that goes to Party 105. So they're going to end up in trouble, and we're going to have to deal with that. I understand the motivation for this tax, but I have to ask on behalf of all those short-term rental owners, and the sin tax side of it's very appealing. But on the other hand, the people that own these, whoever they are, what are they getting out of this? What is their benefit for their people being taxed 2%? And I'd be really curious about that answer.
Wissel's comments then devolved into a treatise about sewage and water systems that were irrelevant to the proposal under consideration. At a candidate forum in 2022, when he was running against Ashley Girodo, Wissel coquettishly declared he isn't a tax guy, as if anyone believed he was. His stance, however, raises the question of why he would, in 2025, champion the manipulation of a sales tax explicitly related to short-term rentals and incorporate a new, unrelated use to fund infrastructure maintenance or improvements that extend far beyond the original intent of the sales tax.
I'm not really a tax guy, okay? I'm really not.
The Park County Ballot Measure 1A will increase the lodging sales tax on short-term rental properties from 2% to 6%. The ballot language states this change will generate an estimated $5.4 million annually. I do not know how the county commissioners arrived at that $5.4 million figure, except that it may have been Fairplay's oxygen-starved air negatively affecting their math skills. The total amount projected to be collected from the 2% lodging tax in 2025 is about $400,000. Taking that real number and adding 4% to it results in $1.2 million annually, a $4.2 million difference from what the ballot measure predicts. The Tabor Amendment requires tax-related ballot measures to estimate total projected revenue. If revenues exceed the estimate, Tabor dings additional monies collected. The ballot measure provides that the 6% tax will expire after 8 years. Perhaps the commissioners are looking ahead. If they are, such foresight is unusual indeed. A central selling point of this increase, which commissioners touted, was the opportunity to address the dismal maintenance of our roads. This would involve remediating the potholes, washboard surfaces, erosion from water runoff, and other issues that have plagued the 1,100 miles of roads in Park County, 90% of which are gravel. The ballot language stipulates that 58% of the expected revenue, or, using the real numbers, $696,000, will go to, wait for it, take a seat if you have to. The revenue will not go specifically to road and bridge, but to public infrastructure maintenance or improvements. The Park County Board of Commissioners, constitutional conservatives all, and adamant opponents of new taxes, their clarion call, no new taxes, no new taxes. They have clearly finagled their ideological distaste for new taxes by eagerly embracing an existing tax intended to fund county expenditures related to short-term rentals, such as road repair, law enforcement, emergency health services, and tourism promotion. Rather than establishing a comprehensive program to address road maintenance in the county, which is estimated to cost at least $12,000 per mile annually, or $20 million a year, the commissioners have opted for a measly Band-Aid that will, at best, address 58 miles. That's 58 miles of the county's 1,100 miles of roadways. However, that condition applies only if they dedicate 100% of the projected revenues to road maintenance. But as always, the devil is in the details. Ballot Measure 1A does not cite road and bridge as the recipient of the new revenues, but it cites public infrastructure maintenance or improvements. Yes, Virginia, the commissioners have clearly taken steps to avoid roping themselves into an exclusive revenue stream for road maintenance. However, they have provided themselves with the flexibility to spend the new revenues on anything that might arise in the realm of public infrastructure, with roads being only one component. If you believe you're voting for road improvements, think again. The ballot measure does not specify that the revenues are only for roads. Rather than responsibly maintaining a $200 million road network, the commissioners have once again opted for a meager Band-Aid. Rather than responsibly addressing the need for a dedicated revenue stream to maintain county roads, the commissioners have opted for a feel-good drop-in-the-bucket solution that will not even begin to fix the problem. And again, the commissioners are manipulating a revenue stream from a sales tax meant to apply only to short-term rentals and the consequent county expenditures related explicitly to short-term rental usage. They are conveniently leveraging an established sales tax to fund something the sales tax was not intended to fund. Their argument touting the use of the new revenues for road maintenance is intellectually dishonest. Instead of working responsibly with qualified industry experts, their own road and bridge personnel, government financing experts, and other counties that have faced the road maintenance issue head-on in developing revenue streams to correct the problem, they inappropriately steal from Peter to pay Paul, a solution that lacks integrity and will lead only to the continuance of a problem they are not brave enough to solve.
That's one big fucker behind that tree.